Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and in this video, I'm actually going to be showing you a multiple of tests for different energy restoration rate levels and which is actually the optimal. Some of us might be thinking just slap on as much energy restoration rate as we can, maybe slap on this with 16% and energy restoration rate everywhere. I would say that that is not really correct, and I will explain why in a little bit. There is an optimal number that you can reallocate the stats elsewhere because I find that there is a little gimmick to this character that not everyone would know about unless they actually test her. So I will keep it quite short. The long story short, for those of you who don't want a TLDR, is you definitely do want to have at least this energy regeneration rate in the link rope. This 19.4% matters so much to this character, and why do I say that? Is because if you see her ultimate here, it has a massive 140 energy cost, super high, but yet it's super critical to have this as high uptime as it can. As you know, it gives a lot of energy on an instance to the rest of your team, as well as keeping this attack buff uptime. So the more she casts her ultimate, the better for her, because you just keep buffing your whole entire team. Ideally, of course, we want a 2-turn rotation, but to be really honest, after the testing you will see in this video is very difficult if not for some outside factors coming in, which we'll talk about towards the end of the video, because this is purely about her without any outside interference, just her kit and rotations alone. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, what this means is we will be looking for somewhere between 119% and to the max of a relatively free-to-play player, which will probably be a Super Imposition 5 post-op conversation, which means that will take your ratios somewhere between either 119 to 140. Of course, if you're a whale, you have a signature light cone at max Super Imposition, you might go higher as well, but for the sake of most people in this video, I think this range will be a very nice way to look at. Not everyone has Super Imposition 5 of her signature light cone. Now, what I also went to do is I also went to go ahead and Super Imposition 3 my post-op conversation to Super Imposition 12 to also show you a accurate reflection of what it looks like at 12% too. Now, the biggest caveat here, a lot of people might think that post-op conversation is very critical, but from the testing that we done in this video, and I'll show you that actually other light cones, for example like Shed Feeling, might be a little bit better, but we will look at that in a little bit. Now let's go on with the testing first with just a plain dummy example of this event light cone, because it's just like it doesn't have any energy restoration, anything at all. Let's get into some numbers. We're going to test first for 119 without the planisphere here. So we don't complete the set bonus for this 5%, and thereafter later on we will complete the set bonus for 124% with the Penacony, Land of Dreams. You could also use Sprightly Von Wack, and I will show you what I mean by certain things. Now let's get into it. Okay, for this first part of the test, we're just going to do 119% with the link rope only. I'm going to just speed it up a little bit so it doesn't bore you guys. The rotation will be skill, normal. You could of course like swap it out to skill, normal, however it is. The most important thing about this is she's not getting any damage at all, and she's also not going to be breaking the enemy weaknesses, which is like purely the bare minimum energy restoration that she needs. Any other things that she gets will probably be a bonus for this 119% build. And most importantly, make sure you look at this. You can see that we are just short of that amount. Now let's test the next one, which is going to be 124%, and that actually makes the big difference because you are able to complete your loop of skill, normal. Okay, so now as we saw from the quick testing, in a normal rotation with let's say a random hey over here light cone, the skill rotation will look something like skill, normal. So it takes 4 turns to get her ultimate, and she'll be skill point neutral, and that will be the rough rotation that we will be doing. Of course, this is at 124.4% energy restoration rate, which means that we are locked in to Penacony or Sprightly Von Wack if we are not using either post-op conversation or any other energy restoration like cones. So the two that comes to mind is really post-op conversation and Shed Feeling. These are the two things that modify those numbers directly. What does this restriction mean? You are fixed with this tool. Not only do you need energy restoration, you also need to have this light cone set. You can't use anything else. Let's say maybe you wanted to use Broken Kill or something you can't use at all. You are just fixed to this thing, which does limit her to maybe outperform more in win teams, because Penacony only applies to win team comps as well. Now I will share with you now, this is the second step. If we switch this Hey over here to anything else, like either post-op conversation because it boosts the numbers up, or even shared feeling, this small 2 energy is actually going to make a huge difference, and let me show you why. So what I'm going to go here, and I'm just going to switch this thing out to this one here, this broken kill. So I'm going to just rotate this so I remove the set bonus, and we can see now this is a 119.4% and exactly no difference. I have a level 1 shared feeling here with super imposition 1. So 2 energy makes a huge difference. And now let's jump into the video. We can see some testing and how that skill normal rotation would actually change. One other benefit of running shared feeling is also fits in line with her overall kit because you give energy to the rest of the team whenever she is using skill. As we've seen so far, skill, normal, that's like 2 skill points used. At least you give 4 energy to every single team member at super imposition 1 as well, as a side bonus. Alright, so now we have actually seen this 2 energy makes a huge difference because it allows you to actually run a 119.4% energy restoration rate. What this means is as long as you perhaps just run this energy regeneration rate 19.4%, you can choose, maybe you feel like running a broken kill set, a 2-piece, or maybe you want to run like a attack bonus set. For example, you can run this Fleet of Ageless or any other future set. You're not confined to the light cone that gives you that 5% energy, and that is where shared feeling and, for example, post-op conversation begins to outperform a little bit, especially if you want flexibility in relics. However, if you don't care, maybe you're just running quick cool, you're running like 5-star alternatives and stuff like that, they are not her signature light cone on any of these energy regeneration ones, and you don't really care, maybe you don't mind just being restricted to this Penacony Land of Dreams, then it's totally fine. I'm giving you the option to choose, and this is my findings so far. Now, of course, the most important difference, and I think it's super important, is what happens when we actually use her signature light cone here. Let's just switch to this 12% energy restoration rate, and we want to actually see, does 131.4% change her rotation? Because right now it's like skill normal, but if we change it into like skill normal, skill, and immediately get her burst up, that goes from a 4-turn rotation to a 3-turn rotation, which is very incredible. And of course, on top of that, we will then change this into this post-op conversation at max refinement here, super imposition 5, and we will also see whether we are able to complete the rotation, and let's check it out. Now this is going to be a fun one. This is with her signature light cone stats, so it's like 12% based on the same as her S1, so taking her up to like 136. If you are using super imposition 1 post-op conversation, it will be roughly around 4% left at 132. Doesn't really make a huge difference as we will see in this test. So here, the rotation is actually going to change, and that's also why I use like skill, normal, because I was trying to figure out whether we could actually break a 3-turn rotation with the previous builds that we're going. Unfortunately, it's too little energy restoration. So there, I was actually testing only if you use like 3 skill points were you able to hit, for example, a 3-turn rotation, but that means she's going to be a negative 3 skill points character. If I slotted in a normal attack there, normal attacks give less energy, so I wouldn't be able to hit a 3-turn rotation with skill normal, only skill, possibly a 3-turn rotation. That's the biggest difference that I think we take away from here. Now let's go ahead and switch over to this highest refinement of 16%, and let's see whether we can do a skill normal rotation then, to be at least only just -1 in skill point consumption. Okay, and our findings are very interesting. Outside of any other interference, let's say the enemy doesn't hit you, you don't break enemy weaknesses whatsoever, so it's just the most plain vanilla calculation ever. Skill normal is still not able to complete even with 140% energy restoration build for Huohuo. What this means is if you don't have perhaps the best light cone or anything, means that your optimal rotation likely will be skill normal for the most part, making her a very skill point neutral character. If you are lucky, maybe you get hit once or you manage to break one enemy weakness, in that case she will be skill point negative because you do need to skill and normal attack, but it helps lower the rotation down. Personally, in my opinion, I think a more standardized build that is more consistent, like skill normal, giving you the flexibility of other options available, at the same time also providing a lot of healing to the team, a bit of auto attacks here and there, and variety in what relics you can build. I think that's way more important than, for example, just having one turn less, and you still need to get a little bit lucky by getting hit or breaking enemy weaknesses and along the lines of that. But anyways, I hope you found the findings of this video helpful. This shows that the light cone, for example, post-op conversation might not be best in slot, because even a superimposition 5, which giving 16%, is still not able to complete a 3-turn rotation reliably outside of any other intervention. Of course, her signature light cone, if you have it at high superimposition, will likely push it beyond that. You can do a 3-turn rotation. And the other exception for this rule is when you have Tingyun on the same team, as we talked about in our best team comms video. If you use her and you use this ultimate ability, you funnel this 50 energy into Huohuo directly. Note that this is not affected by energy restoration rate. That's one important thing to know. So if you funnel it into her, likely you can get a 2-turn rotation, and you can likewise funnel each other. So she funnels this ultimate into Tingyun, Tingyun funnels back into her. That's one of the ways that I can see it as a 2-turn rotation. But anyways, let's check it out, see how that actually works in practice. Okay, so let's test out a double battery kind of team where she funnels energy to Tingyun and Tingyun then funnels it back to see how the rotation would differ. Of course, my Tingyun's rotation are not perfect yet, so this video is just for example purposes for the Tingyun build. This is not a Tingyun build video anyway. So now I'm going to just cast this. We can see real quick this is a 7 energy Huohuo with the light cone with 16% here, so total is 140% energy restoration rate. Now let's go ahead and pump her up with Tingyun. So you see, she gets tons of refill, and for those of you who want to know, it doesn't really affect her. It's not modified by energy restoration rate. I'm going to go ahead and press E here to boost her up, and you can see it's going to be a very nice 2-turn rotation in this case. Of course, if for example my Tingyun was much better built with the proper rotations as well, then I'll be able to complete her rotations in the optimal time too. But this video is just like focusing on Huohuo. Okay, so now we can see here, it's 116. I have the option right now. Do I want to auto attack? Do I want to use a skill? But because I want to make her like skill point neutral, I'm going to go ahead and smack this guy real quick. So you can see I didn't break any weaknesses. She has her energy back. So that is a 2-turn rotation for Huohuo with the help of a character like Tingyun, which means you get 100% uptime on energy, and every 2 turns you are buffing your team's energy restoration rate for your other 2 DPSs on the team too. Of course, you have to commit Tingyun's ulti to Huohuo, and that is one of the caveats as well. And if you appreciate such content, like and subscribe for more of such future videos. I like to do this first before I go into the build guides. I think it's more important to understand the perfect rotations first before getting into builds. Anyways, that's coming up soon, and thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.